I think when I think about the next 5, 10 years, I have a general idea, but I also know like the world is changing a lot. And as a leadership group, I think we believe in kind of being flexible and leaning into that innovation. But I think we have created the foundation to build upon. Because I think risk management, the core concepts, compliance management, the core concepts probably won't change. How things are executed will change, will migrate. And because innovation is in us and it's part of the firm, I think we will continue to lead a lot of those conversations or be at the forefront of a lot of those conversations. Central in most instances is not looking to be a follower, last one on the board, on the bandwagon of new ways of doing things. We might hold back in certain instances, but I think we will continue to grow. I think we will come up with new ways of doing things. We'll lead new conversations. I think you're going to see an expanding leadership team, an expanding group, and new service lines continue to grow as we kind of branch out into new areas. I know that's probably the most vague answer I can give, but
I can give some specificity, I think,
yeah, please.
because what you're saying is it's what I'm thinking, and I think I'm thinking of some specific areas and examples that I can see. So what I think is going to happen over the next 5 or 10 years is I think in our industry, in our specialty, in our niche, GRC, there's going to be a move. This new technology and this new innovation that's becoming useful. And like you said, Andrew, you said specifically, like the principles are going to be there, but how you do it is going to change. I think that in the past, there's been a ton of time and effort that has had to be given to foundational blocking and tackling type activities in GRC. Those are things like building out your business hierarchy in your tool. Those are things like making sure that your compliance regulations are up to date, mapped to your internal controls, making sure that you understand what you're doing to populate your risk register, writing your policies, keeping your policies up to date. All these like down in the weeds technologies, performing the control testing, gathering evidence to do that. I mean, I could just name all these things that end up taking a ton of time and effort to perform that are critical to running a GRC program, especially the foundational ones that are like inventorying type activities, gap assessment type activities of your controls, et cetera. And I think that how those are done is going to change from being a manual, labor-driven, human-driven type thing that takes hours and hours and hours of human effort. And I think those things are going to evolve, and that innovation and the tools that we've been talking about are going to streamline those activities, really lower the amount of effort that have to be given to them. And here's the important part of that, right? The important part of that is I think that the team will be freed up to focus on the parts of our niche that matter, like protecting the business objectives and making sure that companies are achieving what they want. And that will go a long way to elevate the value that business leadership sees in GRC. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. What do you guys think?
I think I'll start with this analogy. I've read a fascinating couple of articles where babies born today will probably never get a driver's license.
Hmm.
So think about the skill sets that we need to execute risk management, control testing, risk assessments today versus the skill sets that we need in 5 years. It's a very different skill set. And I think, Andrew, you've made the comment, the principle stays the same, but the execution of that is going to change. I will not, in the most basic, if we think about internal audit, I probably will not need somebody to go and tick and tie control testing. But I still need to make business decisions. I still need to understand risk. I still need to understand the implications of risk. But I will start my career in a much higher level of execution than ever before. So how we approach this, how we prepare our team, how we start delivering services needs to be at a much higher level in the value chain than before. The challenge for us is how to get there quick. I still need to move from point A to B. I'm not driving myself, but I still need to give directions. Still need to understand I'm going in the right direction. We need to do the same with risk management, with compliance management. How do we do that efficient and cost effective and add value to our clients, or as risk professionals, how do we do that effective?
That's a good point. Because so
Mm.
many times the conversations that we have with our clients right now are taking someone who's down in the weeds and they're an expert in their one little piece of the huge pie that is GRC. And we're trying to pull them out and show them, look, you're great at what you do and you know this process backwards and forwards. Let's zoom out and let's talk about how that process integrates with the broader GRC area, right? So that they understand how they're impacting their peers and what important it is to have integration of data between different processes and pieces of the larger process. In the future, that will probably be less of a challenge, right? Because they will already be looking at things from a little bit higher level. So I think that speaks to exactly what you said, Yanni, which is we're then going to have to keep driving value at a higher level of the value chain. That makes total sense.
What does that mean for Central?
I believe that's why we need to stay innovative, add value, and add that the value that we add needs to continue to grow because the lower levels that will be expected. It is what's
Mhm.
that additional value, and that's why we need to stay innovative as an organization. We need to stay innovative to keep on adding value and stay relevant.
I also think the knowledge and experience that we have at those higher level areas, right, is going to become even more valuable in the future. Right now, so much of the work that everyone does in this industry is at the medium and low levels. And I feel like one of the things that separates us from our competitors right now is that we can do all of that, you know, but where we actually set ourselves apart is when we can come in and tie things together at those higher levels and show them how lowering risk and tying it to your business objectives and driving actual value to the business is what this is all about. And
Mhm.
making those connections that this is not just a loss leader activity, compliance type activity. If you do it right and you drive it up to your risks, to your business objectives, you can actually make better decisions around your business. And I think that will become more valuable.
I think just reflecting on where we are essential as partners, I have to say, Andrew and David, it is such a pleasure to get up every morning and work with you guys because I think we challenge each other to get the best, um,
Mhm.
bring forward the best, and that for
Yeah.
me that makes such a difference.
I feel fortunate because somehow we all work well together, right? Somehow we both challenge each other and push each other, which can be difficult sometimes, right? It means that we require maximum effort out of each other, but I think we're better for it. And I
It,
I feel fortunate. That's the word I'll use.
I think it's built on a level of trust that has developed over the last 5 years in particular with the three of us working together. And we will sometimes get into, I don't want to say heated arguments, but intense discussions. Sometimes about way things should operate as a business, sometimes the way things about GRC principles. But usually coming out of that, we have all like I think been fine-tuned and better. And we also know how to read each other. And we also know like generally how people react to different pieces. So like between the three of us, we have different views on different aspects and different ways that we want to do things. And as a unit, I think we've been able to harness that to be extremely powerful. And it feels I feel very fortunate to have both of you doing this with me because I couldn't do this alone. And I also feel very fortunate that I know Yanni will always do the right thing for Central. Will never intentionally do something that would hurt us. And David, you're the exact same way that you're watching out for our well-being, even at times where we may butt head on things, even though it's not all that often, but it does come up. And through all that, we've been growing, refining, getting stronger, and I actually really appreciate it when we get into those discussions and those disagreements on things because it usually means we're hitting on something that we need to work out. And out of that, we have a way forward that kind of taps back into that innovation. I think that's one of the ways that we are innovative is one of us will have an idea, and it's only through running it through the ringer of the other two that we truly able to get something that's workable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. We tend to be able to find like the pain points,
Yeah.
right? And we tend to be able to find the parts of the industry that we're in that you feel like, there's just something missing there. There's something that's not right. And then it becomes a process of getting the three of us to think about it the same way. Yeah.
I think I would be more worried if we came up with a big idea and all three of us were on the exact same page right from day one. That would
Yeah.
probably mean we need to bring a fourth person in to be the to disagree with us.
Good point. Good point. Yep.